Hi, my name is Dennis Boyle, and I'm going to be talking about the social characteristics of autism spectrum disorder. I do have one student with autism in my class. I do have time to go observe the classroom next door, which is an autism classroom, a mod severe. And so some of the social characters that I have observed, first off, difficult with changes in routines. Everything has to be structured. There needs to be a schedule. I always use timers. I know the other class uses timers too, just to prompt students and prepare them when the transition is coming. Also, students can show difficulty with social interactions. I see this with my student at like recess and during PE, where he doesn't want to participate with other students. He wants to be alone. Also, students may show unusual interests in objects, um, or very knowledgeable about something very specific. Um, I had a student last year that always talked about animals. It was all science and animals and he knew everything about the animals, where they come from, what region of the world they live in, and so forth. He can name and tell you anything about animals. Also, another social characteristic that I have observed is when students speak too fast, or they have lack of personal space and awareness. I've seen that. Also, difficult understanding other people's thoughts and ideas. That goes hand in hand with comprehension. My student this year and students last year had difficulty comprehending, and then difficult initiating meaningful conversations. That's something that I observe with my students. Also during social skills time, and then when we do class activities, my student has difficulty taking turns, and so that's something that we practice. We set a timer as well to help with that, and transitioning and using our coping strategies and breathing techniques to help with that difficult task of taking turns. Some characteristics that were not observed that I haven't seen is repetitive or repeating words or vocalizations. I haven't seen that before. Stimming, I haven't seen in my class. Not so much in my class. In other classrooms, I've seen it, and typically that happens or I've noticed it happens when a student's frustrated or bored, and then maybe another characteristic, difficult multitasking. Um, I haven't, like I said, this year I have one student. Last year I had a few students with autism, and if they were coloring and you asked them a question, like they wouldn't be able to answer the question. They would have to pause what they're doing. So they had difficult like multitasking, and then eye contact. This year I haven't. It's not a problem with my student the eye contact in a social setting, but last year I had multiple students that did not give eye contact. Um, and then if are there any situations outside the class, outside of the observations, where I felt that social characters might have manifested with individuals? Um, yes, I would say like in a school setting, there's a schedule of activities, so I feel like students are always kept busy. But outside, if the environment changes or like outside a school setting, I can see an increase in stimming, due to being frustrated, nervous, or even boredom. And also, another another situation that a social characteristic might be manifested would be when the environment changes. Then there's more signs of anxiety, frustration, which can potentially take over the student's cognitive abilities to think or make meaningful decisions or conversations with others. So, yeah, those are two that I feel that were not observed, but I feel that stimming um, could be one when the environment changes, that the student can become more frustrated and be more observed at during that time. Thank you.